right, y'all. I hope you are having a good time. It is the tastiest time of the year here in Houston. It's also the hottest. That's why we stay indoors inside the air conditioning at Coltivare with Chef Ryan Pera. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great to be here.
This is how many years have you been doing Houston Restaurant Weeks?
I think it's about 10 years.
10 years. Oh my goodness.
So, and even before we opened Coltivare, I was doing restaurant weeks when I was the chef at the Sam Houston Hotel downtown, and we did Houston Restaurant Weeks at the Grove downtown when I was the executive chef there.
Grove, y'all remember, yeah.
It's been a while. I'm not sure I do. But, so I've been participating for many years, and it's always an exciting time. Lots of people come out. The restaurant is busier than normal, and the cooks appreciate it because they get to have a lot of fun too. So,
and they get to hopefully make a little bit more money. And it's always nice to talk to you because we've known each other for a long time. I mean, gosh, you've known me since I was a kid, basically. But, and I remember sitting in this restaurant before it was open.
Yes.
With my mom and you're so proud of your garden outside, which was at the time, it was like the first one in Houston.
Well, it's been here since the restaurant has, and yes, you're right. That was right when we were opening with your mom, and she was doing a segment with us, and yes, I remember clearly you were here. So that was at least 13 years ago.
13 years ago, yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, well, we're going to talk to Chef Ryan Pera about a whole lot more. And we're also going to try his food because the food is the star of the show on Foodies and Friends. And this is the most fun time of the year. All right, let's go on over to the Foodie Cam. We have so much to show you guys. Look at that Foodie Cam shot. That's one for the Hall of Fame right there. All right, Chef. What are we looking at?
So that's our eggplant dip. Something I try to do with restaurant weeks is make it seasonal. We're in the middle of the summer. One of the things that grows well is eggplant. We have some eggplants out in the garden that we're going to pull for this dish. So we make a dip with it. We add spices like caraway and coriander to make it vibrant and tasty. And we top it with some feta cheese, some fresh herbs. Then those crackers on the side we make in-house. We take lots of seeds. We take dark beer. We make a natural starter. We let it ferment for 12 hours so it's got some tang. Then we bake it off and slice it and then turn them into crackers, and there we go. So really the whole circle there on that dish, and that's kind of the Coltivare belief.
I mean, it's beautiful. Now, and the Coltivare belief, I love that. What did you want Coltivare to be when you thought up the concept?
Sure. Ultimately, it's local food from scratch. Mm-hmm. We change with the seasons. Mm-hmm. Super important to me and what I believe cooking is and should be. And then instead of buying the products, we make the products. Mm. And, a lot of chefs do that, and you can control what goes into your food. You can control all the seasoning, and I think it's a better way to cook.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I can taste the lemon.
Lots of lemon in there. Yeah. And
my goodness.
Of course we use those ingredients through an Italian lens. Mm-hmm. And the last thing we are is a traditional Italian restaurant, but the feeling of Italy comes through. And that's my heritage. And I love to eat both traditional and non-traditional Italian food. But here we put our own eyeballs behind it and make a little changes. So
yeah. And this is certainly one of the restaurants. I mean, 10 years is a long time to be in existence, but like you said, you were planning it from 13, 14 years ago,
yes.
But it is a long time to be in existence these days. And it's important that you do change and you do evolve and you listen to your customer, right?
We do. And we're in a great neighborhood here in the Heights, and we have a lot of families who support us year in and year out. And we do try to listen to them. We do try to change with the times, whether that's on the food or whether that's the service, whether that's the way we do seatings. Like, for instance, we used to not take reservations. Now we do take reservations, and that was a very, for this little restaurant like this, that was a big change.
Yeah.
We try to grow, and if I'm not asking myself how to improve, then I'm not doing my job.
Yeah, absolutely. Truer words never spoken. All right, make your reservations on opentable.com for sure for Coltivare. All right, let's go on back to the Foodie Cam. We are here in Montrose. This is Chef Ryan Pera. There may not be that many more chefs that have more Houston Restaurant Weeks experience than this man right here. All right, what are we looking at, Chef?
So we have a seasonal salad there. We have different Italian lettuces like chicory, like escarole. which I love. Just have a hint of bitterness, but also have some toothsomeness to it. Hearty. Then we toss in tomatoes. We have a dill vinaigrette. Then we have some herb croutons that we bake in house, and then we have Lady Creamer peas, which is our local flourish. Those do really well in the summertime. They're a little bit like a black-eyed pea, super creamy, and just gives it that local spin.
Yeah, I love that. And, all of your dishes they're so tasteful, they're simple, but I hear people talking about them a lot. They're very memorable.
Yeah, we try, and I'm glad that you do hear that. And this, something like a simple
Beautiful
Italian style salad. Yeah, it's hard to beat.
And you're kind of, you've in my mind, you've gotten the reputation as almost like a chef's chef. Because when I talk to chefs and I say, where are you going? Where are you taking the fam? Where are you going at the last minute pickup?
Well, thank you. We try to take
care. A lot of them come here.
That's great to hear. Yeah. Anybody in the industry, we do try to take care, but just as well as every customer.
Yeah.
And, I've been a chef my whole career. I started cooking when I was, before I was 20 years old. And so if someone does come in the industry, I feel like I know a little bit of what they might have experienced. So there is an identification there, and we try to make sure they have a good time.
Did you always know that you wanted to be in hospitality and cooking?
I knew I loved it, and I was pretty good at it at a younger age, and I always helped my mom in the kitchen. And so when I graduated my college and my degree, I just stayed in the kitchen I was working at. I had used it to pay my bills through school. And I never left since then.
So, oh my God, I love that. Love it. And I love how Mama helped too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she still, when I go home, she still cooks for me. So she's
awesome. Even today, she still cooks?
Yes.
Are you swapping recipes? Are you telling her about, do you need the Mama approval?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Does she come in the restaurant?
When she's in town. She lives in North Carolina, but when she's here, every time.
I love that. That's so sweet. All right, back on over to the Foodie Cam. We are here with Chef Ryan Pera. He is participating in his 100th Houston Restaurant Weeks, not really, but many years, many concepts, longtime supporter, old friend of my mama, Cleverly Stone. All right, Chef, what are we looking at?
So that is a Coltivare classic. That is the cauliflower dish. We flash fried. It is inspired by a Sicilian dish. In Sicily, they love making the sweet and sour with raisins and some vinegar, and that's what we have done. We've made a gastrique of sorts with those raisins. We pour it over the top so it has the sweet and sour sauce. Then we add the Coltivare component, the green tarragon, which to me is a vibrant herb that cuts through that sweet and sour sauce. And then you got the crunchy cauliflower, and it's delicious, and it's been on since day one, and definitely one of our best sellers.
I had no idea that the sweet and sour was a Sicilian cultural thing. I've looked back, my Italian ancestry is Sicilian. My husband's is. Maybe that's why I like the sweet and sour much.
There we go. Yeah.
It's in my blood. I had no idea.
Yeah, the agrodolce.
That's amazing. Now, what is your travel world look like? Do you go around?
I definitely travel for food. So recently I was in San Francisco and for the summer, and I definitely went for the weather too. Yeah. But we ate some incredible meals. I always want to get some Italian when I do travel, just so I can compare it to what we're doing here at Coltivare. It does matter to me that when you travel, you can see different things that different restaurants do, and they might have solved different problem or the same problem a different way than I might have solved it. And so to see that perspective, whether it's a full cocktail menu from a similar restaurant or the pizza menu from a similar restaurant, I think it's great, and it enables me to change moving forward, and then how they handle service standards. And then I also like to go to, whether it's not Italian or something else, a neighborhood restaurant that exists like Coltivare might exist. And then I also love to go to the fancy Michelin restaurants, which, or something like that shows new culinary techniques or something that I've never seen or done. Always lots of fun.
Speaking of those travels, because I just was like, where is my fork? Where is my knife? Well, here at Coltivare, pull this little drawer out.
Yeah, so that was
right at the table.
Certainly
you found in your travels.
Found in while I was traveling, and somebody had solved a problem that we had at Coltivare with. We used to have essentially vases on the table that took up room, and it made more clutter. So this enables us to reduce slightly the clutter. We still have tight tables, but those few inches are prime real estate. So yes.
I've never seen it before. I think it's one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you.
That and chairs in restaurants, especially if they're heavy chairs, where they have a little handle on the back, so you can pull them out. Right. That's another good tip.
I gotta do that on the next chair run.
Well, these are little chairs, but for those big, heavy, like upholstered chairs, it's like, I'm not coming to move furniture. I just want to sit down and have a nice Italian meal. But this is ingenious. I love this. Do kids like this?
Kids love it. I mean, our servers love it because
parents might not like it though.
We fill it up before a service starts, so it enables them a little more time to do the other things that they're not focused on changing the fork when each plate might get cleared. So
I would have to put my son on that side. We would have to that's the one adjustment we would have to make strategically. Who would be seated where, because the kids can't be near the knives because they might think they're toys.
We don't put steak knives in there. We learned that. Yes.
You didn't want to induce any family battles in your dining room, Ryan. Come on.
We didn't want to have to give out bandages either. So,
Just spice it up somehow. Bring people through the door. All right. Let's go back on over to the Foodie Cam. We've got a lot to show you here. Cultivare's $39 Houston Restaurant Weeks menu. $3 from this dinner will go to help food insecure Houstonians. Houston Food Bank will turn around and generate 9 meals from that $3 donation.
So awesome.
Isn't that amazing, Ryan?
Amazing.
It's like a buy one, get one for the operators. All right, what is this beauty?
So that is a grilled portobello mushroom. I'm a child of the 80s, and I vividly remember one day there was no such thing as a portobello, and then the next day they were just all over our grocery stores, and my mom was bringing them in, had never seen it. We must have cooked portobellos, once a week for years and years. So anyway, there is a soft spot in my heart. I always like to put it on a menu when we can. So we take it, we make a wild rice mixture. We put a layer of the wild rice on top of the portobello. Then we put an Italian cheese called Crescenza, which is a mountain style cheese made with cow's milk. It's got a little tang. It melts really well. So that gets melted on top. Then we make a porcini aioli, which is essentially a mushroom mayonnaise. That goes on the bottom to just accentuate that mushroom flavor. Top it with some fresh herbs. All the way mushroom, delicious, melty cheese. Can't go wrong.
I love that. I love mushrooms.
Me too.
Like really, really love mushrooms. My mom loved mushrooms too. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I remember that when the portobello era that came in, because I wasn't eating meat at that time.
It's a great meat substitute. And one of the, something we try to do at Cultivare is always offer a balance of vegetables and fish. And, so you can come and not have to alter everything to have a good vegetarian meal. So this is one of the reasons why this is showing, and it's a perfect substitute for a needed dish.
And this is actually something over the last few years, Houston Restaurant Weeks, the vegetarian dishes are something that the diners have really been requesting, because these restaurants are showing kind of your greatest hits on your HRW menu, but there's so much that you can do with veggies. And I'm really happy that the restaurants are really leaning into it more, even in the last few years.
Yeah, more and more every year goes by. We see more vegetarian diners, more vegan diners, and more gluten-free diners. And we, just like we were talking before, we have to change and adapt, and we increase those style dishes. And whenever you don't have to alter an existing dish, it's going to be better. So we try to create it the first time with that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go on over back to the Foodie Cam. We're here talking to Chef Ryan Pera of the infamous, definitely one of the iconic restaurants, institutional restaurants of Houston. We're going all in, baby. All right. Oh, you do pizza too.
We do pizza. Yeah. We have a beautiful pizza oven back there, and we take dough seriously. We have a 3-day fermentation process on the dough, which just makes it taste better. Simple as that. And this, we were just talking about vegetarian cuisine. This is a vegetarian pizza, seasonal with our squash and zucchini. In the summertime, it's hard to grow anything in Houston, and squash and zucchini are one of those things that we can still grow. So we've decided to put that on a pizza. Then we have some basil pesto underneath it. I think one of those sauces that everybody knows and loves. My family in Italy is from Genoa, so that the pesto is inspired from that region. Shaved squash and zucchini, then we top it with some smoked mozzarella cheese to give it a little of that Texas smoke that people love, and then Parmesan and pine nuts, and there we go.
I love that. And so much of that is coming from your garden.
As much as we can.
As much as you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is right here. And, I just want to go back to that topic for a little bit because, 13, 14 years ago, this is.
Yes, it's tasty. And it's light and it's not like so rich. And that's what I like about it. It's still summertime type of dining.
But, this garden that you're growing, some of your herbs and some of your little veggies. And I just really want to emphasize that how difficult that is and how not so many chefs are doing it. He was kind of like the first one here in Houston to really embrace it. And so many people and chefs respect you and look up to you for that as well.
There's a learning curve in everything you do. And I knew nothing about gardening for sure. I'm lucky enough to have an on-site gardener who is on our staff. And he's super knowledgeable, and he used to be a cook as well. Mm-hmm. So we powwow with our general manager also to see what the next season is going to bring and learn things like seasonal things that affect you seasonally, whether it's pests, parasites, rain, sun, all those things, just pollution. And you have no idea. You have no idea.
Like
we
you
have
can
to roll with the
plant
punches.
Something, put no spray on it, put no pesticides because you can control that, but then it'll come out tasting differently and you don't even know why.
That's
and
right.
then maybe you move it in a different area and it's away from the bird poop or something. Who knows? I don't know.
One year you have it in one bed and then it takes all the nutrients out of the soil.
Yeah.
And then if you plant the same thing the next year, it doesn't do well at all. So learning about the rotation, learning about soil health. Soil health is two words I never put together before this restaurant. So it's all important. But it does give you a perspective. And that perspective is, how everything's related and how that's important. And I believe that with cuisine. And we try to adhere to it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, and it makes sense that there are people that get PhDs
yes.
in this stuff on how to grow things in soil because it is a science. It is really tough. Yeah. You guys have to do everything. You got to be scientists, engineers, chefs, cook, cleaning crew, everything. All right, let's go back on over to the foodie cam here at Coltivare Pizza and Garden. It is actually a garden. They didn't just stick that word on the title. Right. It is actually a garden. It's pretty cool. Bring the kids. You can leave them out there if you want.
They might melt in the summer heat, but after the sun goes down, yes.
Ryan won't judge you. Okay, Ryan, what are we looking at?
So this is the Coltivare Classic. This is our cacio e pepe, essentially. We have spaghetti with Parmesan cheese and olive oil. And then we just use the natural starch from the cooking water to thicken the dish. This is a classic Roman dish. Mm-hmm. This has been on since day one at Coltivare. There was, when I lived in New York, when I was learning to cook under some good chefs, there was a neighborhood restaurant a few blocks away, and they served an incredible cacio e pepe. And when I would get off work, I would go and eat with my now wife late at night and just really fell in love with this dish and always wanted to put it on my restaurant menu. So Coltivare gave me the opportunity to do that. And we try to adhere to mostly classic. We use Parmesan cheese here. We don't use cacio, which is a different cheese, but I think it's still great.
And you did study and apprentice under some pretty incredible chefs, right?
I worked with some great chefs. Yep. I worked, Jonathan Waxman in New York was a lot of fun to work with. And here in town, a lot of people might remember Chef Tim Keating, who was at the Four Seasons, and he was a great mentor as well. This is when I first met your mother. Yes. Actually, it was at the Four Seasons where I first met Cleverly.
Yeah.
So
for
sure.
Another one who knew me as a teenager. We'll talk to him another day. Okay, let's go back to the foodie cam here at Coltivare with Chef Ryan Pera. We're with friends and family here, you guys. Let's go. All right, Chef.
So we have our trout dish. We're utilizing summer Texas corn. We're taking, again, some squash and zucchini. We're preserving it with some lemon juice and salt, making a very light escabeche. That gets put over the top. And then really just a corn stew on the bottom, corn and shallots. We're letting those tomatoes in there, and they they create that nice light sauce for the trout. Pan roasted trout, coating it in an herb crust, and then right on top. So simple and light for the pescatarians out there.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Now, talking about Houston Restaurant Weeks and the legacy, you knew my mother, Cleverly Stone, in the beginning, and we were talking before the show. In the beginning, it wasn't that easy to get restaurants to participate, was it?
No, it was not. And I remember when I was my first executive chef job at the Sam Houston Hotel, it was a fine dining restaurant, and we only had, I want to say, 2 to 3 tables reserved for Restaurant Weeks, and that had no, had nothing to do with me, but it was all that the ownership of the hotel wanted to set aside. So it's come a long way. And now this Coltivare, we look forward to it. We know it's going to help our August, and we get excited about it. We get the staff behind it. We encourage our servers to really put it forth on the table, because it does a lot of good.
Yeah.
It does a lot of good. And
it does a lot of good.
And Houston needs it. I think when you're a chef, you can lose yourself in the day-to-day and forget that we're part of a community, and sometimes you forget that you have to give back. And this is an easy and good opportunity for a chef like me to give back to the community.
Well, and it's wonderful, and we're so grateful also because so many new chefs and restaurants are coming to Houston. You are so well respected, and they really look to you as an example. And so your continued support and your beautiful menus are just very appreciated.
Thank you so much. And I'd love to encourage the young chefs out there, the young restaurateurs out there. This is important, and we can't just go through our day-to-day, or we end up in trouble. Yeah. And so, service is more important than running the business.
Absolutely. All right, let's go on back to the foodie cam. Take a look. Oh, what do we
so we have our chicken. This was inspired, I would say, by a chicken piccata. It's got lots of lemon. It's got lots of capers, but what we do differently is we braise the chicken slowly, chicken on the bone. It's nice and fall apart. We pair it with some potatoes, again, fresh herbs. And it's very hearty, and I think it's going to really be a crowd pleaser. That classic lemon chicken flavor, people are going to appreciate.
Ooh, and I'd like to try that drink too very quickly before we close, because you guys do some drink specials during HRW as well, wine pairings and stuff like that.
Yeah, we do. Our wine guru, Leonora, who's also our general manager, put together wonderful pairings. We have, whether you want some non-alcoholic cocktails or alcoholic cocktails to start, we've done both to try to warm up people who are having restaurant weeks, and then free to get each course a wine pairing or not. And but they're paired quite well with each dish.
I love that. It gives people like me who don't know as much about what goes with what, I can just pick and choose and be able to look like I know what I'm doing.
I think in Houston, you can have rosé with everything.
Okay,
and you're okay.
That's a good. I never heard anybody say that, but I am literally going to remember that for the rest of my life. All right, chef, what are we looking at?
So here we have a gnocchetti, which is just pasta that is shaped like gnocchi. And there we're using the roast peppers, which we grow lots of peppers in the garden, a little bit of tomato, and then we have some eggplant in there too. So we have really a pepperonata pasta. So we're topping that with some ricotta cheese, some breadcrumbs to make it crunchy. Very summer pasta dish.
I love that. Love it. Now, any HRW exclusives that you're debuting this year that we can talk about, or maybe change later?
This one is new. Ooh. We've never had this dish before. We've done some things with similar ingredients, but not with this specific combination. So
I love that.
Always fun to do. Never had this pasta shape in house before. So this is the first
maybe it finds a home on the menu
absolutely.
After HRW.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, stay tuned, you guys. We've got an extra serving coming up with the most important part of the meal, the desserts.
Yes.
And as always, stay tuned to Fox Local for all of your Houston Restaurant Weeks coverage. Y'all, these restaurants are supporting the city, and the diners like you are also doing it as well. 68 million Houstonians fed over 22 years.
Truly amazing.
We'll see y'all all month long.